Hello. Hello, lovely people. Howly doodly. Do we have anybody with us this evening?
I can't wait. It's not instantaneous. There's a delay, babe.
How much of a delay?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I can't see any other comments.
It's because nobody's there yet. It's just you.
No, but if anybody brings comments up.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So, is that?
You.
Is that just me?
Yeah, that's the laptop.
Oh, right,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
because it's
that's
going
all.
through there. Okay, so we should fill time, should we, while we wait for people to come and join us?
We can do, or I can just edit this bit off. I'm not sure.
Okay, but if they watch that now...
Oh yeah, good point. No, anybody who joins live will be watching from now. From the moment they start watching.
But if they join it halfway and then go back and watch it from the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know then.
I don't know neither. Hey!
Leah's on.
Leah's on. Lovely Leah. Might just be us again. I'm just going to make some noise for a bit while I'm waiting.
Do some singing.
No, not singing.
Oh.
Clear some space. Get different resonances depending where you hear it.
It was good. It was making my ears vibrate weird at one point.
I quite like it.
Okay, we've got a few people on. What we're going to start off with is talking about a subject we touched on last week. So if you didn't watch it, we're talking about house cleansing and protection for around your house and energy and things like that. And throughout the week, Penny's been sort of started on renewing the protection, and I'll let you take over, to be fair, babe.
Okay, so some of the things that I talked about is that above all the doorways of the bedrooms and bathrooms and toilets, I hang time bundles, which are blessed at the altar, just to give them a bit of extra power. So we do already have those, but we've been getting some interesting things happening, and we obviously need to renew our protection. So have some new time bundles. I will be going around the house and I will be smudging. My preference is sage. Some people don't like sage, but I also use a feather. And then I clear the space with sound. So in some cases I'll use my bell, and in this house, just because there's a lot more going on, I should be using my singing bowl. I don't know how well this translates.
It's quite loud when you're really close to it.
So there's some of the things that I should be doing to clear the energy around the house. So some of you may experience things in your own home. I was reading some good stories live this evening that people have got activity going on in their homes and aren't sure whether it is normal or paranormal. And I've got to be honest, I wouldn't know unless I was in your house. So if you've got any stories that you want to share, around visitors to your home, supernatural visitors or visitations that you've had, or
sometimes it doesn't have to be from a third person. Sorry to just butt in there.
it's okay.
It can be just like a feeling of foreboding in a particular room, so the energy's off. It's not necessarily all about sort of something else is there. It's also about just the build-up of energy, potentially a build-up of negative energy in one spot.
Yeah. I went to somebody's home, and it is quite a rare thing, but a lot of her activity centred around the bathroom. And if you watched last week, you'll know that I said energy is pulled towards natural, strong energy. So running water in bathrooms and kitchens is a huge pull. In their case, the energy was outside of the bathroom, and it was actually their bathroom door had a swirling vortex, which was a little bit unnerving. And I did what I could to clear the energy and to close down the vortex, because they obviously don't want things coming through there.
What, something coming through a vortex while you're on the loo?
Yeah.
No, that's not
No,
cool.
bathrooms are for one person only.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
don't really
definitely.
want visitors while you're in there. Not unless they're going to bring you a spare toilet roll if you get stuck.
Yeah.
But you never know. So, yeah, so that was one. Another instance, another home, they brought a newborn baby into the house, and the baby just wouldn't sleep in its bedroom. And it was a lovely little room. It was beautifully decorated, full of all the things that a baby would like to look at, and it was very lovely. But instantly, as you entered the room, you could feel the change of energy. And it was super uncomfortable. It was quite a dark energy. And the baby just wouldn't sleep, and it cried all night. What I discovered on doing a tour of around the house and the garden was the baby's bedroom. It was a box room. They had an alleyway that ran between the two houses. And I found in a few cases where there is an alleyway between the two houses and a bedroom is above it, the energy gets trapped within the passageway and can seep through into the bedroom, which is what was happening with the baby. So there were things that I did, and I did clear the room, and I did leave certain things, certain wards in place, and I did clear the passageway, and smudged the whole family, and left them a protection bottle. You might have heard when I was interviewed before that I said about a protection bottle that I sometimes leave for people to put in their gardens.
Thanks for the likes, guys.
Thanks
Sorry,
for the
keep
likes.
talking.
So that's what I did for them, and after that day the baby went in its own cot and slept really, really well. So even if you are sceptical, even if you want to question the likelihood of anything like that working, it worked for them. Whether that was the power of their belief, whether it was what I'd done helped, it doesn't really matter. The outcome was that they wanted the baby to be able to sleep in its own bedroom, and the baby was able to. So for me, that was a win.
Yeah. Excellent.
So there's no set format to a house clearing, because it depends what energy's in the house. It depends what's being experienced within the house. It depends whether the energy is a visiting person, if it's an energy that resides within the house, the bricks and mortar, and it's linked to the house, or whether it is a non-entity energy, which is what it was in the case of that passageway. It was just a build-up of energy that couldn't get out, that seeped into the house.
Excellent.
So,
Right. There's a few of you on now. If you've got any questions, feel free to post them. I'm trying to think if we've had any sort of topics come up during the week. that we could discuss?
Don't know. Ask us questions, peeps. Ask us questions.
What do you want to know?
Yeah. We were interacting with the UK Haunted guys during the week, talking about energy being stored in dolls.
They've got, is it Janet?
Janet, the haunted doll.
Janet the doll.
That's over 100 years old. I think they said it's about 120 years old. And it has no eyes. And it also has teeth. Bizarre. I don't really like dolls. I think dolls absolutely, and a lot of toys, store energy. When you think about...
Not necessarily bad.
No, not necessarily bad. When you think about how much emotion a child attaches to a toy, whether it's good emotion or bad emotion, when they're sad, they'll cuddle a teddy bear or a doll. When they're happy, they'll cuddle them. And an outpouring of emotion, whether it's negative or positive, where is that emotion going? I believe that it goes into that particular toy, whether it's a doll or a teddy or a train or whatever it may be. I think the energy is stored there and at some point needs release. Certainly, I have been in the room with the lovely Janet the doll when I did the world's largest seance, as she was positioned to stare at me with no eyes for the duration of the seance. I was extremely uncomfortable. I did pick stuff up off her and I tried really hard not to engage with her because I don't like her. Just want to say, I think I saw an orb just now go across us.
Really?
Janet, don't come and visit.
If anybody else seen that, you need to let us know.
Yeah. Yeah, we have offered to do some psychometric work with Janet. We shall see. We shall see how that goes. That would be interesting, I think.
I have handled some other objects that have got haunted histories about them. We went into a museum, didn't we? And there was the wheelchair. And to me, the energy plays out like looking through a photo album or looking at a film. It doesn't play out like I think, oh, it's happening right now. That's not how it feels to me with the energy of stuff. Hence why I'm not so worried about haunted dolls.
Okay.
Because I'd like to handle Janet.
That's just really inappropriate.
But not from any morbid reason. I don't want to...
No.
It's not about that. There's... That same energy is the same as the music video that we watched, and the girl takes the teddy out of the box and holds it. In exactly the same way, she's remembering memories linked to the toy and the teddy. So that is the same thing. She's picturing what's happened around it and who that teddy was and things like that. So that's kind of how it plays for me in my head. Not like the teddy has an entity.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that's how it works for everybody that reads energy or psychometry and things. That's just how it works for me.
I'm not saying it necessarily holds an entity. I believe that it holds energy. I hear a lot about haunted dolls, and there are obviously a million films out there about them. I don't think it is that, and it's because I'm an empath that I pick up on the energy and I feel the energy and I engage with the energy, and that makes me quite uncomfortable. But in a lot of cases, people that have dolls and things like that, they don't necessarily want you to do a clearing. They quite like that there is that about their possession. Hi, Marianne.
Hi.
Yeah, so some people know that there is energy stored and it's not necessarily positive energy, and they don't want to get rid of it because they quite like to say, hi Anna, they quite like to say, oh,
There's a different time zone for everywhere else.
they're all just finishing their tea.
Oh, thank you, Anna. Yes, it is my birthday today.
Very old.
I'm 40-something. I don't know.
That'll do. Yeah, so for those of you that have just joined us, we've just done a little catch-up talking about house cleansing and activities in homes. Lovely Anna told us some things last week about experience that she's had and people that she knows has had. We've talked about psychometry a little bit and haunted dolls. Sending questions. The purpose of these Sunday shares is about sharing. Much as I could sit here and chitter-chatter complete and utter nonsense for an hour, it's about you guys being involved as well. So, okay, Anna's just had something really strange happen. Tell us about it, Anna. Right, quicker though, because otherwise we're just sitting here staring at the comments waiting with bated breath. So, yeah, while we're waiting for the lovely comments to come in, what we're going to do from next week is we've kind of done the getting to know each other a little bit, and about who we are and what we do. And stop laughing at us, Leah. So as of next week, what we're going to do is we'll start off with sharing a little bit of knowledge about one subject, and then leave the rest of the time open for people to discuss, tell us stories that we can talk about with you, or ask us questions about it. So that's just a bit of a heads up for next week. So starting from next week, our discussion next week is going to be on divination. So all the different forms of divination that there are. But like I say, it's just going to be a little section of us talking to you, and then it'll be pressure on you guys to talk back, tell us stuff. Yeah, you know what's going to happen now. Next week, people are going to tune in late because they don't want to hear the waffle. They just want to come and have a chat.
No, next week I'll try and see if I can get a holding screen set up.
Okay.
So that we can have that kind of ready and waiting moment.
Okay.
But it don't matter, it's an informal chat. We haven't got to be all strict about it.
Can't help it. It's the trainer in me. Makes me want to educate people.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So, anybody, do you have any questions? Otherwise I'm going to go back on the singing bowl.
We could talk about altars, gods, goddesses. There's loads of stuff we could talk about.
There's loads of stuff.
Shamanism, mediumship, spirituality.
He wants to talk about
Exorcisms.
shamanism because he's got a new book.
I have got a new book. It's a bit deep though. I don't want to talk about it. I'm literally one chapter in and my brain melted a little bit.
What's it called?
Northern Shaman. Don't make me say it with an accent. Northern Shaman.
The Northern Shaman.
It's not from Yorkshire.
It's not from up north.
No, it's a very good book.
While we're waiting, I'm just going to sit and annoy you all, making a really loud noise.
You do that and I'll read this.
Yes.
No!
See,
It's
now we
scrolled
can't
away
shut
from
her
me.
up.
Please excuse my concentration.
Don't worry,
phase
Marion, if you're
while I
sitting
read.
with your rollers in, we can't see you. We can only see what you type. So don't panic.
Oh, what was that?
You just get to look at our lovely faces. Marion said it's a silly question, but can you see us or only what we type?
Oh, no.
Damn, I should have said no, we can see your rollers. That you've got a face pack on.
Right, hold on. I've lost my place now. Yeah, no, I get it. So you were looking for your engagement ring and it was missing. And as you start to assume it's lost, it then drops to the floor in front of you. But like you say, you checked that it hadn't caught in your clothes and things like that, then yeah, if there's no reason for any...
Somebody might be giving you a message.
Yeah, somebody helped you out. I like stuff like
Remember,
that.
we ask St Anthony to help us when things go missing.
St Anthony?
St Anthony is the saint of lost things.
Saint, what's that mean?
Saint Jude is lost causes, and that is
saint.
for you.
Saints are from where?
Oh, stop it now. All right, no Christians here. We are open. Wiccans are open to all belief systems. Let's have a look.
It's Saint what's his face?
Lol, you're in
It's
bed.
just Anna with the friend
Wish
with
I
ghost
was,
that finds
but that
stuff.
would be a very different kind of video.
Ooh. No, we're not doing OnlyFans.
I don't know what that means.
That's not happening.
Okay, so for Anna, that was a singing bowl. They're not as nice as the lovely crystal ones. The crystal ones are uber expensive though, but do make the same resonance. It's a nice sound.
Alright, we should be back.
Are we back? No, it's paused again.
No, that's just catching up. There we go.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
I do. We live in the country and our internet's pants because it's provided by Sky.
Don't say it, they'll cut us off.
I've just disconnected from it and gone on to 4G.
Oh, okay.
So we should be fine now.
Alright.
Should be alright.
Okay, so, questions, people?
So, no, things like that Anna's just mentioned about. So, there's a number of different terms that you could go for that. Sort of guardian angels, or just a friendly spirit, or it could be your actual guide. It could be a relative. There's kind of lots of questions with that. As long as you can prove it, obviously, within reason in your head, you sort of go, I definitely know I checked there, it definitely wasn't there, now it is. When you get that moment, you sort of go, oh, thank you very much.
Maybe it was a test. See, having just read that, I'm wondering if it was a test and it was about your commitment to the relationship, and the fact that you then, because you took it off because you take your rings off when you do the washing up, like normal people do. But the fact that you couldn't find it, the emotion that you then felt, the panic, is because that's how important it was to you. So it might have been a little test on your relationship. So look at, how has your relationship been going of late? Have you had the normal ups and downs that other people have, that just made you go, oh, sometimes just the sound of your breathing, I want to smother you.
What?
That kind of thing.
Am I awake or asleep at the time? Because that makes all the difference with that kind of a statement.
It's just an idea. Sometimes you just need to focus back on what it is. It was an engagement ring, so it was a link to a relationship. So thank you, lovely Leah.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. So yeah, if you linked our two stories, interpretations together as that test, who would that mean would pose the test to Anna? What kind of person? So would it be a guide or a relative or something along those lines?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know everything.
Yeah,
I only know
fair
some
enough.
things. Excellent.
It makes sense.
It does make sense.
That's the main thing.
Random, but true. Okay, so any other questions, lovely people? Because we want this to be an open. Tell us about you. Tell us about your experiences and stuff. And what's drawn you to watching us? Because we're just two random people chatting. Is it just nosiness? That's fine. You're allowed to be nosy.
That's what I said to a guy on Instagram I was chatting with the other day.
Yeah.
It just kind of, we were both drawn to each other's posts on Instagram. So it led to a conversation about paganism and Norse mythology, and so yeah, it was cool.
You're allowed to be nosy. I've watched loads of things just because I'm being nosy and there's nothing on the telly. Or usually because it's late at night and I can't sleep, so I'm just watching any old crap on the internet. Like this. So,
What?
yeah. Ask.
Just critiqued our own video.
I'm allowed, it's only number 2. Okay, so, talk to us, people. What do you want to know? See if there's things that we can answer specifically or guide you on specifically. I'm kind of looking around our lovely office, which is full of so much stuff. Certainly for the divination stuff, we've got tons. So it'll be quite good to go through that next week. What do you want to know about? Do you want to know about mediumship? Do you want to know about divination? Do you want to know about psychometry or house clearing? Cleansing? Not clearing. That's a removal job. And
not to be mistaken with cleaning either.
No. We'll aim to answer whatever we can. Whatever we can.
A question I got asked in the week
Okay.
by that guy, who was, I don't know if we covered it last week or not. It revolves around sort of training and learning, and people asking sort of where they can go to learn things or to understand stuff better. I personally trawl YouTube and trawl the internet, and I'll listen to different people's channels to do with paganism or Norse, and you give it a few minutes, and if you think, no, that's not quite the same page as me, skip to the next one. And you'll find the one that resonates with you in the way they talk or how they say it or just the topic that they talk about. I meant to make a note actually of a couple of the channels that I watch, but I'll sort that out for next week, or I'll post it in the week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's whatever you're drawn to. It's kind of the weirdest thing with spirituality. You have to kind of see the open door and walk through it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's tricky.
So I'm a big reader, avid reader. Like I said last week, lots of books, lots of different subjects. I get pulled towards a particular subject, like mediumship, and then I read lots of books about that, and about different people's experience and how it affected them, being a medium or being a sensitive. It really intrigues me, other people's experiences, and then I'll get drawn to a different topic and I'll focus on that.
The topic I've been drawn to as well recently is everybody else's interpretation of what it is they think I am, if you get my logic. So how I introduce myself to somebody, they have an instant idea of what they think that is. So I did quite a bit of research on just what people say. Did they say I'm a pagan or I'm a paganist? And there were so many different terms and little caveats that did it. Some made it more confusing, some made it more simple. But that, like Penny said, is just a little rabbit warren of something I went down as a, how do people define themselves within this open way of believing? Because it's not a religion as such, it's just...
It's a belief system.
Yeah, so it kind of unravels a lot of things. And
why do you need a label?
no, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't, but Facebook did, LinkedIn did, everything else did.
Yeah, tick a box.
Yeah, I've got to fill it in. What do you do for a living? Medium. No, that don't work. It doesn't want to accept that. Healthcare. No, that's not really it. So I'm trying to fit the boxes. And that's all it was.
No, I get that. That makes sense. Okay, Marion, do you use crystals? I have used crystals. I don't use them a lot unless I feel drawn to. So we have a couple dotted around the house.
Most of them are on my altar.
But you have more than I do. Without
I like
a doubt.
crystals because that's the psychometry, the energy within crystals.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't particularly because I don't follow the norm of what other people do. So there are many books and guides that tell you what each crystal is, what it's used for, what it works best with. Crystal is natural. You will feel what it needs to do and how it resonates with something else. When you put them near it, if it doesn't feel like a good feeling when you put two crystals together, then they're not going to work well together.
that's not to say a bit of research doesn't go a long way. In
No,
things like that.
I think
Sort of try and
to
corner
have
it
a
down.
good bit of background is handy. But
If you want something specific with a crystal, like you think, oh, I want to be able to sleep better, or I just want energy cleansing, or I want to draw in more strength. I want to kind of sort of different things between tiger's eye and just an example. The difference between tiger's eye and a piece of quartz, and then the difference between a piece of clear quartz, smoky quartz, and rose quartz. There's all, each one does different things, and I like I like working with them all.
okay, so sorry, that was quite rude. I just wandered off randomly. Got
That's
bored.
weird. You're not even back on that screen.
That's how much of a celebrity I am. I can just wander off. No, saying that I don't work with crystals isn't true. I don't work with them a lot. So this is a little bottle of rose quartz. It's a necklace that I made for myself when I had, and still have, but when I had a serious issue with my throat, specifically the lymph node. Rose crystal from research is good for the lymphatic system, but I was actually really drawn to it, so I smashed up a crystal for this, and then I blessed it, and I wore this for quite a long time. So yeah.
I often used to walk around with crystals in my pocket.
Some people will say for sleep, don't put crystals in your bedroom because they are constantly giving off energy and vibration. They can disrupt your sleep pattern. And some people say, oh yeah, you definitely need some and put them under your pillow. Find what works for you. Try. See which crystals you're drawn to. Try them in your bedroom, try them under your pillow, or try sitting with them and meditating with them before you go to sleep, but don't necessarily keep them in your room overnight. Just try different things.
There's loads of stuff you can do with crystals. What's them discs that they do? And you put all that...
Crystal grids.
Yeah, crystal grids and stuff.
Yeah.
I've never gone that far down the crystal sort of rabbit hole.
See, lovely Marion said no crystals in the bedroom.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I hadn't heard that.
Animal spirits. I have. It was a very, very bizarre situation. So, for those of you that can't see the comments of yet, lovely Leah said, have either of us come across animal spirits, pets or animals that have passed on? I have a couple of times, but my most favourite was a horse, which quite surprised me. And it was an investigation with the lovely Northampton Spirit Seekers at the time, and I had a lot of information come through. I had a couple of gentlemen come through, one that was really nice, that insisted on kissing all the ladies and freaking them out, and gave me lots of information about him. And then randomly, out of nowhere, it was as if a horse had walked into the room we were in, and I kind of was shocked and went, Okay, can anybody else see what I'm seeing? And it was a horse. And the gentleman that had come through was laughing and said, yes, that's mine. It's one of many. And I just remember saying, well, there's not much room in here. Please don't bring any more in. One is plenty. And it was only afterwards that it was confirmed to me that the chap had come through that I said was a lord that was linked to the property, and that absolutely was apparently true, and he had a full stables, and this was a very local lord apparently, a stable of racehorses, and they were he was really well known for his horses. So yeah, that was quite weird. A horse.
Never had that. My own dogs, yeah. I see them regularly. Well, not regularly, that's a bit of an overstatement. Sort of, just random times. But I do still see them. So.
Yeah, I
But
saw
I never
your
see any
dog
spirits of the old
at the flat.
goldfish I had or anything like that.
Oh, but they're quite quiet. You wouldn't necessarily notice them. Goldfish.
No, I know all the dogs are hanging around. They've all hanging around.
But which dog?
I was the only one that
saw?
Which one was that? The shepherd?
Yeah.
Solly.
Oh.
So nobody else wants her. No wonder she's hanging around me all the time.
That's quite sad.
Yeah, no, Solly
That's
and
quite
Faze.
mean. So, yeah, it's more difficult with animals because they can't necessarily tell you who they're there for or what they're there for, and whether they're just linked to a memory of somebody coming through rather than an actual visitation. Because I think Solly was a memory linked to you that I saw rather than a specific visitation.
Yeah, rather than seeing her as a...
Because it wasn't somewhere that you lived with her.
No.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But what if it's not one of your dead pets? What if it's your animal guide?
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying. It's another topic we could cover.
It is. Spirit guides.
See, I believe that my animal guide is a stoat.
Your spirit animal.
Yeah, my spirit animal is a stoat.
I'd like to say mine is something cool, like an eagle or a lion. But actually it's not. It's a cat.
I think a stoat...
If it's anything like my cat, it's completely indifferent to me. Turns his back when I try to talk to him. So bloody rude.
Yeah, he's not your familiar.
No. It's not even a little bit bloody familiar. So yours is a stoat.
Yeah.
Nice. Cute. A little bit wild.
It's a smart little animal. And I firmly believe it scouts round in front of me the whole time, figuring out what's going on.
So does it help?
I think so.
Give you information or guidance or
No, I just think it's there.
company?
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, we've just completely picked apart my animal guide.
Sorry. Broke that. Okay. How do we know what our spirit animals are? Oh, that's a very good question. I was told that you meditate, you close your eyes and you meditate, and your spirit animal will come to you and you will know, and you will feel them brush against you or I don't know, snort in your face, depending on what the animal is.
Make their presence known.
But they will definitely make their presence known only to you. And then once that's happened, you acknowledge who they are and you spend more time meditating a little bit each day to build the bond with your spirit guide, your spirit animals. I've got to say I don't engage with mine very much at all. But then I've been burnt by my cat that hates me. So that kind of puts me off a bit.
I used to engage more with the stoked, but having now started the new book, that should help me reconnect, either with that original animal guide, or it might be a different one. I don't know. Bear in mind, it's a partnership though. It's not they're there to serve you. It's not that at all. You're there to learn from each other. You're this side explaining stuff to them, and they're that side explaining stuff to you. And it's the transfer of equal information. Which is what I always found a little bit funny. Going to sidetrack this a little bit, but there was a program that used to be on TV where they used to go around to haunted places, and as medium psychic used to talk to people there, and I always thought it was kind of, did they have an agent for Sam to make sure he was always available for the
Take it off me, Sam. Take it off me,
for
Sam.
the times of the bookings. And I just kind of assumed, oh, okay, that's obviously worked out together.
Not to speak ill of the dead at all. Some people are entertainers, and they should be entertainers. You've broken Alistair with whatever it is that you've written, Marion.
Yeah, she just mentioned those two.
Before we move off, that particular person that you're referring to, I have been to performances of his, and he was an entertainer. And as an entertainer, he was one of the best until he wasn't. As a communicator with the spirit, I don't agree with that part. So, okay, I'm letting that go now.
I did apologise in the beginning of video 1 that I'm not quite sure where my brain will tangent.
I'm just going to... Just
click on the 3 little dots.
What there?
Yeah.
Sorry, if you get a message from somebody asking for you to inbox them and they'll give you a reading or send them money or anything else, please ignore it. I have just blocked that person that tried.
Marion mentioning her 2 past dogs. Yeah, I've known them for a lot of years. Those were 2 awesome little dogs. But I remember an instance where there was something that you explained to me, Marion, about Jinx did something that let you know another dog to get, or it was a puppy or something. There was definitely a moment where you told me about that you'd felt guidance and a resemblance to her that sort of drew your attention to that particular dog. And that's where I say that it's not necessarily an animal guide. We accumulate spirits and energy throughout our lives, and some stay with us for the whole thing, some don't, or they don't stay on with us this side.
And there's nothing to say that an animal that you had a link with won't be your guide. They might be. If your connection with them is that strong, they could absolutely be your guide. But you won't know that unless you meditate on it, I think.
Yeah, meditation is the crucial crux to
meditation
guides.
Is such a flowery word though, and people automatically go, oh, meditation. Do you know what it is? It's just sitting quietly. And
sometimes.
Sometimes, in my case, it is sitting quietly and letting go of focus and becoming open to what is around me. In your case, you meditate better with noise and movement. So find the way that works for you. Sitting with a crystal grid or staring at a crystal or candle won't necessarily work for you. No. You might be better off with a walking meditation, or with music blasting in your ears, or cleaning. Cleaning's very good meditation because your focus is going on that. I'll put the music on.
My idea of meditation's about clearing your mind. So you kind of got different kinds of meditation as well. We kind of have this stereotypical sit, fingers in such a position, and just sit quietly like you've zoned out to something. And that's a hell of a thing for people to do. And as a person that's got a brain that runs off in tangents, the only way I could have my brain think of nothing was to have the word massive in neon lights in my brain flashing nothing. Because that's the only way I can imagine nothing.
Is to make it something.
Yeah, so for me, meditation is now a visualization of the meditation. So I go from where I start to a particular point where I sit.
Don't worry, Marion, you don't have to clean.
And that walks me into a meditation. And then while I'm in the room in the visualization, I'm looking at things in the room that I need to think about or address. So it could be an ornament of an animal. So I was like, oh yeah, I need to sort of think about my animal guide. And if that thought doesn't hold me in that moment, I move to the next, whatever it is. And I can do that sometimes in the bath. I do it while I'm having a fag next to the fish pond. It's sort of 15 minutes. It doesn't take much at all, just to kind of defrag the stuff that's going on inside your head.
And once you've got that out, you're creating an open space
Yeah.
for
But the
new
frustration
information to come in, new energy to come in.
The frustration at the start, you got to think of nothing. You got to sit calmly and be at peace, be at one. And now all my brain does is flash those words up in neon lights. Don't think of anything other than peace, for the word peace. And then it will go, how do I spell peace? Is that like pieces? And my brain's gone from that moment. So the only thing that came close to it and it helped was the basic breathing exercises. So just 100% focus on breathing in and breathing out and try and think of nothing else. But it's really difficult and I struggle to do it. So I gave up trying to do something I was struggling with. So it made more sense to me, but
You find what works for you.
Don't copy. Don't copy what you see.
Or what you read or what you hear. It's like the same as the crystals. Make your relationship to what you're doing your own relationship. Be guided by your instinct and your intuition. If something feels uncomfortable, just because it says in the book that's how you're supposed to do it, you don't have to do it that way if it doesn't work for you. You have to make it work for you. And it might be that you try loads of different things and don't feel comfortable. At some point, you will find the path. You will find the bit that resonates for you and works for you.
Yeah, meditation for
Don't
me
rush.
was like...
These journeys aren't journeys to be rushed. We're put here for a long time to learn a lot of lessons.
43 years now.
Yeah.
13 more than a doctor told me I would ever get. So no. Some doctor who know it all he was.
I've just read what you've said. Jinx sends white feathers when I train Phoebe. I'm guessing that you had a really close dynamic with Jinx.
Yeah.
How do you know that it's Jinx that's sending the feathers? It doesn't necessarily mean that they're coming.
It doesn't, but that would be the...
From Jinx. And is that not necessarily her saying, or him, Jinx?
Jinx, go.
Her saying that...
Put Papillon.
Okay.
I used to look so cool holding...
Stop it now.
Little butterfly Papillon.
Shut up. Right, so it doesn't necessarily mean that she's saying, I'm your guide, I'm here, I'm watching you with another dog. It could be, I'm letting you know it's okay to let me go. You have another relationship. This is a good relationship. It is a strong relationship. It is a relationship that will work if you allow it to work. You can let me go now.
Or she's critiquing Marion's run.
No, that's not. No.
No, see, I believe Jinx would visit the same way as Faze does to me. They visit and they come and go as they need to. If we
Faze
need them.
visits, bumps into the door frame.
Yeah. Things that go bump. No, he's not blind on the other side, I hope. Still,
No, in theory not.
that would be a little bit sadistic.
Although if we hear a clunk like the sound of something, a wardrobe falling into a radiator,
Could be then.
that is the sound that went along with phase.
So yeah, so we've covered a few topics tonight.
We have covered a few topics tonight. Just became a bit of a ramble.
So that's how it should be. But that's how the week is. Are we? I think there's some sort of people think there's a massive change to do stuff. I don't know, like it's a big effort, but it's not.
To be on a spiritual journey.
Yeah, it does
Okay.
take a bit of time and effort. Don't get me wrong, and a lot of self-questioning, which is what I said to somebody last week as well. Was that kind of, if your journey is to be, I don't know, you want to become a medium, and you just sort of start reading. If you don't necessarily have that adept intuition for that, try something else. It's not a case of kind of, oh, you failed at that. No, that's not the frequency you're resonating on. And it's that sort of logic. So it's kind of find what works for you. And it might actually be that it's not an item, or I think it is just you. Simple as. Which is why I'm on about this empath. It's just, you are an empath.
Yeah.
I think to an extent people can learn it, but there needs to be a natural kind of, for instance, I've completed the Reiki course, to like a Reiki master, but I wouldn't say Reiki is something that resonates with me in the same way as it does with you. I'm still on my Reiki journey is how I look at it. I just need to learn a bit more and understand more about the energy of how Reiki works. So
Everybody's different. Everybody's journey is different. Lovely Marion, sorry that you lost the middle of that. What I thought was if it is Jinx that is sending the feathers, it is most likely that Jinx is saying it's okay. You have another dog, you have another connection. You can let go now. You can look forward and stop being sad, because they're okay and they're happy for you to continue.
yeah,
So if it is Jinx that's sending you the feathers, it could be a, look, will you just bloody look at me? I keep sending you these feathers because you keep being sad that I'm not here.
that's what I was saying. That's what I said. Knowing Jinx,
Yeah.
it's her hanging around going, yeah, well, we'll check the training out, make sure the turns are tight. And
Oh, I honestly think it when we get things like that, it is more about, and the fact that you're getting them regularly, it is more about you need to acknowledge that it's okay to miss her and love her and think about her. Now you need to focus on your other new friend.
Marianne's got loads of dogs.
Okay, focus on the others then.
I've got one. So easy just owning one dog. Anyway, we're literally in the last sort of 5 minutes. As a kind of quick roundup, if we look sort of towards next week's video, like Penny said, we're going to start with a bit more of an in-depth chat about divination, the different kinds.
Because there's loads of different kinds.
Yeah, there is. Lots of different kinds. So you'll kind of take the reins on that mostly.
Okay.
Just trying to think, what divination things do I use apart from tarot?
Crystal,
I've got a dowsing I've done before with my crystals.
pendulum dowsing.
Yeah. So there's a number of different things. So we'll start with that, and then we'll open it up to, you guys, the sort of general questions. I can't think of anything else.
No, I can't think of anything else. Thank you, everybody.
Has anybody got one last topic, question? One last thing? What's that, Marion said?
For God's sake, don't tell him he's right.
Yeah, no. I don't know if it's Jinx saying, you know, remember me but let me go, or if it's Jinx saying, remember me, that turn could be better, we used to do better. So we've never really any way of knowing, and I don't think that's really the question. It's more the sort of just acknowledgement that the event happened. And the memory, when the memory washes through your mind, you just thank whatever it was that stimulated it.
Yeah, absolutely. How does it make you feel when you get the feathers?
Hmm.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Marion.
Good night. Okay. Anybody else got anything? Because if you haven't, we're going to finish. Because we was all here on time. Well, we was here on time and you lot weren't. So.
No, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I hope you enjoy our waffling. Which is
lovely, Katie. You sneak in. Should I be cleansing my crystals under the moon? I do. I believe in using the moonlight.
full moon.
Any moonlight. And what you can do is collect moon water. So when it's raining, pop a little pot outside and collect rainwater and leave it out overnight for the moon to bless it, and then you can use that to cleanse your crystals. That's a really quick and easy way of cleansing them. Yeah.
No, it's good. Like I said, I hope you enjoy it. We're sort of just the way the world is at the minute. This is the only way that our shop front can be open to an extent. Yeah. So, you know, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.